Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me. That's right. Anyways, in today's video, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, you know? I'm trying to get that YouTuber hype because I deserve to be famous. That's right. I deserve it. But anyways, so for today's video, I thought I'd read some paranormal / creepy Reddit posts, and yeah, by the way, I have not read these beforehand, so I'm gonna be reading these live with you guys. So this first Reddit post is under the Reddit category of r/paranormal encounters by the user IDKidKidKiddick 12 hours ago. And the title is Unexplained Things Happening, like things flying off the wall. Hi guys, a few months ago I posted on here because my partner and I were spooked. We had a few creepy things happen to us, up until it looks like where she got physically hurt. Deep scars are still on her today. The original post is here, and we'll probably read that one, but I want to read this one first. And also, okay. We still haven't gotten any conclusion. It's just been a mystery for us that we've somewhat forgotten about now. We aren't even sure if it was paranormal, as my belief is very fluid. It was just weird. Since then, nothing as significant has really happened. We still feel odd sometimes, but sometimes nothing happens at all for weeks. The noises have been non-existent, and I don't hear creaking nor banging at all. Doors open, but nothing major. Girl, doors open, that is major. Anyways, in fact, lately it's convinced me that nothing was really happening at all to us just a few months ago. My toddler was probably just saying words she had learned as well and wasn't seeing anything. Maybe it was a normal scratch, etc. That was up until last night. We've had very minor strange occurrences happening, but have had a logical way to explain it all. Such as our front door violently opening up in front of us, most likely because of wind. I cannot explain what happened last night. Girl, wind? How weak is your front... I'm so sorry. How weak is your front door? That's like a genuine question. Anyways, here's the story. Finally. Last night, while we were watching a movie together and doing laundry, a painting in our hallway flew off the wall. The nails were still in place in the wall, but the painting had fell off somehow, and was a few feet away from the wall. It hit the thermostat, and the plastic cover from the thermostat fell off completely, revealing the wires and such, so it was moved with some force. We put everything back together, pretty spooked, and went on with our day. We've never had a problem with this painting, and we checked that it was sturdy on the nails. It wouldn't budge, even with a pretty good amount of pressure. I couldn't see any way it could have flew off. A few hours later, we decided to make some food, and we heard a loud banging coming from the oven. We checked up on it, and the metal tray we had our food being cooked in seemed like it was violently thrown across the oven rack, far from where we originally put it. We've never experienced this before, or heard that noise before. We shrugged it off once again, somewhat spooked out. Maybe we thought heat did something science-y. But as soon as we came back to the room, whilst watching something in bed together, we once again heard something scratching on our walls across from the bed. She told me she had heard it earlier but ignored it. The scratching continued, moving along randomly in or on the wall. It was repeated in the same pattern. I checked for rodents, and there were none. A neighbor's room is on the other side, but the walls aren't thin, so we've never heard a thing from them. This is by far the spookiest thing that had happened. That night, the scratching noises were very loud. These unexplained instances just got more and more scary throughout the night. All of these experiences made us feel like how we did months prior. So we're gonna go to the original one after this. In the original post, I had explained we had a cat. We no longer have that cat with us, and he's been living with a friend of ours. I also explained that our toddler would say some pretty strange things. Although this has not happened, she is much more incoherent and in reality, so she can form full sentences now, but one thing does stick out. When putting her to bed, and this would happen for a couple months, she would point up on the ceiling above her head and tell us there was a bug. Godzilla. What she called monsters or anything creepy for a while, and that's in like parentheses. a dog or plain out monster was up there. She would even say goodnight to it. This has stopped recently, but she wakes up at night hysterically crying often, always around the same time, 12 to 1. We assume it's just sleep regression. Does that correlate? We aren't sure. But this behavior was identical to when she would always point out that monster outside that was in the comments of the original post. I don't mean to grasp at straws, nor am I saying there is truly something here. I am scared that something will get hurt again. Or someone will get hurt again. I'm not even sure if something supernatural had hurt us before, but because of this, it's been unexplained. And with some things spooking us lately, talking about it on here had given us comfort from before. Paranormal or not, we've had our fair share of unexplained situations before meeting each other. We're just confused. What do you think? Girl, I think y'all have a haunted, and now I'm very curious to read the first post, which we're definitely going to do. So this is by the same person about 4 months ago. Suddenly woke up from sharp pain and deep scratches. I need help rationalizing or at least getting an idea on what caused this. Posting on a paranormal subreddit is the last thing I wanted to do, but we've ran across every rational scenario. I'll over-explain and put everything that has happened in detail. I've had random scratches appear my whole life without much thought, but this was different. This morning my girlfriend woke up suddenly from a sharp pain and it looked like she had been in a fight. Earlier, at around 3:20 a.m., my girlfriend suddenly woke me up to her jolting up and spazzing out. I sit up after being hit by her, and she got up to find her holding the side of her head. She told me it felt like a sharp aching pain, and was convinced it was a headache. This worried me because I'm a hypochondriac, and thought it could be anything from migraines, quote unquote, which she suffers from on occasion, end quote, and parentheses, or a full-blown low seizure, etc. As she rubs her head, she notices a large, deep scratch where her head hurts. It goes from her eyebrows all the way to her hairline. The scratch seems fresh. It was red, bleeding, inflamed. You know the deal. We then notice the same thin razor-like scratch on her head. From her thumb to her wrist, the line has a skip a quarter way through, like when you cut something very quickly and it bounces off. I take a closer look, and there was blood on her nose and in the middle of her forehead as well. They were from small dots that were reminiscent of digging your nails into your skin. Upon heading to the restroom to check it out, we dry the blood from the scratches up and notice a smaller one under her eye, as well as what looks like a rug burn type of lesion where the corner of her eye is, between both scratches. A few similar marks are nearby. We check for other scratches and find none. Absolutely not, girl. We checked our nails for blood. There were none. Her nails were dull, soft, and short. I cannot see how her nails would scratch anything. My nails were long, but I was not in the position to scratch her at night. I was on the opposite side of the bed and had both hands under her/my pillow. She wore rings to bed, but after checking, the rings had no way of scratching her. She did not move all night either, as we were cuddling. I am also a very light sleeper and wake up from the most small movements. I usually stay up much later than her on most nights, laid in bed beside her, and so I know her sleeping patterns very well. She does not scratch in her sleep, and she has no history of any skin-related medical issues. I have eczema myself, and am familiar with lesions caused nails and derma medical issues. She doesn't jolt in her sleep except when kicking her leg when she first falls asleep. She couldn't have jolted and scratched herself, nor did I feel anything like that happening. We checked the bed, and there was nothing sharp. We have a cat, but he has never done anything like this before, and doesn't even scratch our toddler. The cat, when in trouble, also runs off. The cat was laid up beside me on the opposite side of the bed when we woke up, nearly waking up just now with us. I checked for any other small animals in the house and found none, no bugs either. There was nothing nearby to scratch her at all. She was on the edge of the bed at this point. Her scratches are all on her right side toward the edge of the bed. I genuinely cannot explain this. It looks like she was attacked and torn up by something. All the scratches are from the same side of the body and trail off from each other. Because of this, I cannot see how she would have done this herself. I couldn't reach that side of her either. She had no marks prior to bed. When she woke up spazzing, she did not scratch herself either. She only held her forehead after the fact. It's like she was suddenly scratched and woke up from the sharp pain. I do not believe in paranormal much, despite having some odd experiences, but rationally I have no explanations, as we've ruled anything we could think of out. Once again, she didn't wake up to find scratches. Being scratched woke her up. The two major scratches were deeper than your usual random cuts. My girlfriend doesn't scratch when stressed out or anxious either. Her coping mechanisms are well known due to her mental illness. Needless to say, we switched spots on the bed and I slept on the edge. What do you think is happening? Edit 1. Recently we've had strange experiences we've shrugged off. Our apartment is fairly quiet and has always been since we've been here, but recently we've been hearing noises at night. These noises include random banging on random walls, things just happening outside of our bedroom, and the sounds of someone walking about in the building. Oh, sorry. You know when you stay somewhere long enough and know which part of the floor makes a small creak, or when someone steps on the carpet? These have been happening when our toddler has been asleep and the cat in the same room as us. Our toddler's room has also been opening on its own lately, but babies will always find a way to get into things, lol. This only started recently, and it isn't fun. It isn't a fun thought to add 2 and 2 together. The sound of the mornings this situation happened were more common than most nights. Edit number 2. I've replied to a few comments. Thank you to anyone who's chimed in, and have a few more things to add that may or may not have correlation. First off, we don't/aren't putting the notion that this is definitely paranormal. That's a possibility, but we were just not exactly sure what this could be despite it being unexplained. I'll try to post some images soon. Lately, we've regressed in our depression and have been having a pretty bad episode together. Our episodes started on different times, but within the same time frame somehow. This started around the time strange things have happened. The noises indoors. It's funny how it's always doors when something paranormal/might/be involved. Not sure if we feel is related to anything that might be happening, but I feel like it was useful info to know. If you look below, you can find how our toddler's behavior has changed when coming home too. I apologize for how long this post is for such small, minimal situations. And then edit number 3. After this had happened, everything seemed to stop for a few days. The sounds weren't being heard anymore, and we were feeling better overall. No other scratches have been made thus far. Our moods have picked up as well, or at least my partner's has. The night I'm writing this, the sounds have picked up and are more intense. We've talked to other neighbors, and they've had strange occurrences too. A long-term neighbor of ours has heard our patterns in the mornings and etc. Mention of how loud noises get at night now, suddenly. It seems to happen when we're possibly sleeping. This isn't fun. I've yet to know if this correlates. What I do know is that scratches are still unexplained. Here are the photos. Most of it has seemed to healed or gone away completely, except 2 major scars. The cut on the forehead seems to be taking the longest. The deep jagged scar is the most unusual. It doesn't look like any random scratch I've seen before. My girlfriend doesn't look like she just got out of battle anymore though. I'm not going to insert the image, I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like. So, trigger warning if, like, blood or, like, scratches, like, give you the ick. Just skip a few seconds ahead. So here's the first one. Here's, like, it again, and then here's, like, that thing. Anyways, I do think that's paranormal, Like, I don't know of any, like, skin conditions where your skin randomly cuts itself. This next Reddit post is from the, oh wait, hold on. Oh yeah, okay. It's from the Reddit user KRTSBLMK1984. And it is titled, I have seen the same quote-unquote ghost for years. Hello. I have not told what has happened to me before, so I hope you can guide me and try to explain to me why this keeps happening. English is not my first language, so forgive me for the mistakes. Encounter number 1. When I was 11 years old, I dreamed about a specific man. In my dream, we were at my school, and I saw him in one of my classrooms. He was wearing old clothes, as if he was from the 30s. A voice told me I had to get to him. So I entered the classroom to find out it was only a reflection. The reflection came from a window. So I had to climb off the window to find him. Short story, I had to chase him through the streets, but could never get to him. Encounter number 2. At around the same time after this dream, I had to stay late at my school, around 6 to 8 p.m. because it was parents meeting, all the kids. Parents meet with each other, with the head teacher. As I couldn't stay home alone, my mom had to take me with her. I was in the school alone. I sat by the chairs, and that is when I saw him again. He was inside the same classroom as in my dreams, but this time he looked very different. He was white. Completely white. As a usual ghost you can see around the internet and movies, like Casper. Oh, they didn't say that, but I just said that. In my dream, he was like a regular person, as in colors, but here he was white. I could tell he was wearing the same clothes, the same hat. It was definitely him. I got scared, but I didn't do anything. I just sat there while he looked at me. He walked from time to time. He moved his head, but he never said anything or came near me. At last, the meeting was over, and I had to come home. I told my mom about what I had seen, but she just dismissed it as a child's imagination. Encounter number 3. The third encounter is the spookiest one, as I got really afraid. Weeks after I saw him at school, I was in my bedroom waking up from sleep. While my eyes were shut, I remember feeling as if I wasn't alone in my bedroom, so I had remained with my eyes closed, because I was scared. There, I heard a sneeze. I opened my eyes slowly, and there he was again. He was in front of my bed, looking exactly the same as in my school. He was wearing the same clothes, and he was all white. He just stood there. He looked at me, and he smiled. I just stayed in bed freaking out, mainly because of the experience of seeing what I thought was a ghost. It wasn't, because I felt like he was going to hurt me. After a few seconds, my parents called my name from the other bed and asked if I was okay because they had heard a sneeze. I looked into the direction of their bedroom, tell them everything's okay, and then he disappeared. Encounter number 4. I've never seen him again as vividly as I saw him when I was 11, but I did see him again. I'm 30 years old now, as I have always been drawn out to non-conventional experiences, I enrolled in a free class called about meditation. The class was a guided meditation where you had to close your eyes and then imagine what the teacher says. In this case, the teacher said we should get relaxed and then go downstairs. She said at the end there were going to be people waiting for us, important people who would help us through the path she was going to take us on. She said we were going to see our masters, our angels, and the disembodied spirits. When she said that, I immediately saw him again, but this time he looked different. He looked old and had another body. But I just knew it was the same man I had seen in my childhood. The meditation was going to a garden and then asking the universe to heal something that was bothering you. So everyone, in parentheses, the masters, the angels, and him, in parentheses, sat in a circle. The meditation finished when we had to go up the stairs. After this, I've never seen him again. Someone said repent and seek Christ. Someone's like, super cool, thanks for sharing. OP. Demon attached itself to you. Calm down. Oh my god. Breathe. It sounded so aggressive. Ouija boards are BS, right? Right? Calm down. Breathe. You're getting aggressive. This is by the Reddit user AMAH1989, and this was five days ago. Alright. This is probably going to be the last story, too, just because this video is long enough. Hi all. Thought I'd share something interesting that happened to me about 15 years ago. Most won't believe me, but for what it's worth, I promise everything I tell you is 100% true, and how it happened to the best of my memory. However, names have been changed. I was about 18, and I was hanging out at my friend Joanne's house with some other school friends. Can't remember how we got into the subject, but towards the end of the evening, Joanne thought it would be fun to perform a seance. Joanne and her family were from Cape Town, South Africa, and had deep-root interest in the spiritual, parentheses, or at least that's what Joanne made out to us, end parentheses. With the lights off and candles lit, we sat around at a round table with cards fanned out around the edge. Each card had a letter of the alphabet arranged A to Z, and a shot glass placed in the middle. Joanne started speaking out to the spirits in African. I remember pulling a face and rolling eyes. Parentheses. It was too dark for anyone to take offense. End parentheses. At the time, I was an insufferable Enlightenment atheist teen dork. You know the type. Cringy 4chan edgelord who thinks any form of spirituality or religion is beneath me and my superior intellect. I never wore a fedora, but I was damn close. However, what was about to happen made me question everything. It started mundane enough. A few questions were asked, and the shot glass we were resting our fingers on started to move to and from until eventually one of my friends asked if the spirit if they were associated with anyone in the room. The shot glass moved directly towards me. Incredulous, I asked the spirit, if you're associated with me, then what's my mother's maiden name? My eyes fixate on the letters that spell out her maiden name, and it's Jones in parentheses, but the glass started spelling out something different. First, the glass went to T, then H, then O. I thought, then it was BS, as it was completely wrong, but I was struck by a horrific realization. When my mom was about 6 months old, her biological father died of a heart attack, and a year after that, she took her stepfather's name. I had completely forgot about this in the moment as I was expecting the glass to read out the maiden name that she had for the majority of her life, but it was actually spelling out her original middle name of Thompson. It was a fact so trivial that I barely remembered it myself. It was something never talked about even within my family as it happened so long ago. It would be hard to believe that any of my friends would know this esoteric piece of my family's history that occurred 20 years before I was born. But nonetheless, how it was being spelled out in front of my very eyes. Thompson. My school friends and I wouldn't talk much about anything deeper than video games and, breasts at that age, yet there's no way I could ever mention this to any of them. It's not like one of my pot-smoking loser friends had a copy of my mom's birth certificate and none of them had ever met anyone else in the family. There was literally no way anyone could have known this. Before I could contemplate this for too long or ask any other questions about my ghostly associate, Joanne's mom came into the room and turns the light on, and with a thick SA accent shouts something like, "Bloody hell, Joanne, stop messing around with this silly crap, and put a definitive stop to the proceedings." Of course, at the time I played off as a prank, but the more I think of it, the more my mind wanders. Did something actually paranormal happen that night? I know it's nothing dramatic or exciting. I didn't see an apparition or a cryptid, but unlike 90% of the stuff you read on Reddit, this experience is actually true, and something to this day I cannot explain. I'd love to hear your thoughts. TLDR, very obscure information about my family history was divulged during a seance, which none of the participants could have possibly known. So that was that. Sorry I didn't make sense. I didn't even make sense in my own head when I was reading this. I hope y'all enjoyed this little video. It's something new. I'll see you guys in the next video.